Hello everyone, this is methlokaiju and I'm here with the highly anticipated Act 2 of Godzilla King of the Monsters. If you want to know who my sources are, check my Act 1 video. And if you do want to know about Act 1, check that video as well. I do want to make it abundantly clear to not spread these spoilers to those who don't want to hear any of these. Anyhow, let's get straight into Act 2. After regrouping, Monarch is obviously bewildered by Emma's actions and Monster Zero's sudden disappearance. Monarch realizes the next target is Mexico and ready themselves to head there when suddenly Emma Russell directly contacts them from Mexico herself, revealing she was working for the terrorist group the entire time. Cue speech from the trailer. With the freak tropical storm heading for Mexico, Monarch decides to evacuate the city, but before the evacuation is complete, Jonah orders Emma to use the Orca and wake up a new Titan called Rodan. Rodan explodes from his containment chamber, causing the volcano to erupt, and begins laying waste to the city and people below. It is here that Madison starts to reflect the carnage going on around her and begins to doubt her mom's intentions, but pushes her doubt in the back of her mind, hoping everything will be fine. The storm begins to swamp over Mexico and Monarch realizes that Monster Zero wasn't lost in the storm, but is causing it. In a last-ditch effort to save what's left of the populace, Monarch plans to lead Rodan away from the city with jets and encourage him in a dogfight over the ocean. Rodan destroys several jets and uses an attack which involves him spinning around on his axis in a barrel roll type maneuver to destroy several at a time. Using a new Monarch helicarrier named the Argo Jet, which many fans have titled it the Super X, Monarch leads Rodan into Monster Zero's storm with hopes both Titans will kill each other. The two have a very short battle, ending with Monster Zero easily beating him. Monster Zero then focuses his attention towards our main cast, charging up to kill them. Ghidorah is flying towards the Monarch helicarrier, and we see him approaching closer and closer through the window of the helicarrier. And at the last moment, Godzilla blindsides him from the side. We see that entire scene from the Monarch crew perspective. Ghidorah manages though to gain the upper hand again, constricting Godzilla with his body and neck as he fights in the ocean. Now, does this mean there's an underwater battle? I'm not exactly sure. My source doesn't really recall either if there is an underwater battle. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know, we'll see. Admiral William Stentz, David Strathern, makes a guest appearance and claims things are getting out of hand, issuing the use of a new experimental anti-Titan missile known as the Deoxygenator. Dr. Serizawa pleads with him against the idea and says that humanity must, quote, trust in Gojira, much like the first film, but, just like in the first film, he's overruled. Godzilla, while still in the clutches of Monster Zero, manages to tear off one of the heads, but the military already fired the Deoxygenator at the two anyway. When hit, Godzilla seemingly dies and sinks into the ocean. Hundreds of fish float to the top of the water too in a very eerie scene, with Monster Zero surviving the missile unscathed. Monster Zero flies over Rodan's volcano, perches atop it, and begins drawing energy through its storm in a really amazing scene. It is here that Monster Zero completely regenerates his missing head. Rodan flies over to him and bows to his new king, becoming submissive. Monster Zero then lets loose a bone-chilling roar, and suddenly, all across the world, Titans everywhere begin awakening from their hibernation. One in Peru, one in Bolivia, one from Mount Fuji, and many, many others. Cue Charles Dance's line,
"Long live the king."
In the Monarch carrier, the scientists say, quote, "That's impossible, nothing can regenerate like that." Zhang Ziyi, who is the mythology expert, says, quote, "I found something about it in ancient texts." And we also see the cave painting where Godzilla is fighting Ghidorah. She says, quote, "The texts say the demon which fell from the sky/stars. It is an alien. End of quote. The scientists take this and say that explains why the oxygen missile did not affect it and how it can regrow its head like that. And Watanabe adds, quote, "This means he's not of Earth. He is a false king for the monsters." Middleditch adds, "And judging by the text, we just killed our best chances of stopping him." Shocked by Godzilla's death and the mayhem caused by the awakened Titans, Madison is fully convinced her mom and the terrorist organization are wrong. With Godzilla dead and nothing standing in their way, Rodan, Ghidorah, and the rest of the Titans go on a rampage across the world, destroying various cities and leaving little in their path. This is where we see the mammoth kaiju causing chaos using its massive tusks. Ghidorah even begins roosting in Washington, D.C. Mothra emerges from her cocoon underneath the waterfall and flies over Castle Bravo facility in the ocean to lead Monarch to Godzilla, who is revealed to still be alive, but just barely. She uses her God rays here to signal to Monarch Godzilla's location. It is stated that Godzilla and Mothra species had regularly allied themselves together in ancient times and share a special connection to one another. Mark Russell begins to develop a growing affinity for Godzilla and happily joins Monarch aboard a submarine to try and revive him. Monarch locates his resting place inside an ancient underwater city, feeding off radiation from the seafloor to stay alive. They do say that the city leaks radiation, but at the rate it is leaking radiation, it will take 100 years to revive Godzilla. In order to revive Godzilla fast, Monarch decides to hit him with a nuke, but due to technical difficulties, the nuke won't launch, meaning someone must take it to Godzilla manually and detonate it. During a very emotional scene, Dr. Serizawa accepts it has to be done and volunteers himself. He dives down and drags the nuke up a flight of ancient steps and sets the nuke down in front of an injured Godzilla. He sets the timer and places his hand on Godzilla's snout, takes a deep breath and says, quote, "Goodbye, old friend," in Japanese. Then the nuke explodes. A supercharged Godzilla rises out of the water, bigger and stronger than ever, even sporting more traditional dorsal plates reminiscent to Godzilla's 1954 dorsal fins. Godzilla spots the Monarch team and looks at Mark Russell in the eye, and they share a moment. Godzilla is rejuvenated and eager to take on Ghidorah one last time. He then releases an ultra-powerful blast of atomic breath into the sky, showing off his new-found power. So that is Act 2 for you guys. Next video will be Act 3, obviously, the very end of this little act video stuff. Afterwards, I will be doing speculation videos, stuff of that sort. Maybe I find a source for Godzilla vs. Kong. We'll see what happens after that. But that is Act 2. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think of the movie so far? And which act do you think is better, Act 1 or 2? Personally, Act 2 is absolutely amazing, so I gotta go with Act 2. So that's basically all for this video. Subscribe, like, and comment. This is methlokaiju, signing out.